Hi everyone, it is a pleasure to be here today. I'm going to jump right in. I'm a survivor of torture, and I'm very forthcoming about it. To me, dictatorships are not ideas on paper. To me, they are real. Today is the 31st anniversary of the day, March 26, 1984, when I was released from Evin prison in Iran. I was shy of 19 years of age, just about 19. I was arrested when I was 16. When I was growing up, I was very much like you. So if you think that as a victim of torture, as a survivor of torture, I'm different from you are, please think again. I was very much like you. I was born in Tehran, raised in Iran. I was madly in love with Donny Osmond. I read C.S. Lewis, Jane Austen, and Ernest Hemingway. My father was a ballroom dancing instructor. My mother was a hairdresser. And just like you, I wanted to grow up. I actually wanted to become a medical doctor. We had a cottage by the Caspian Sea where I spent my summers. And the road was clear. I was a good student. There was no doubt that I would go to university. There was no doubt that I would become a medical doctor. But then in 1979, when I was 13 years old, the Islamic Revolution in Iran happened, and my world collapsed. For the first few months, it wasn't so bad. I mean, when a revolution happens, all the old laws are out the window, and the new laws have not been written yet. It takes time to write a brand new constitution. And Ayatollah Khomeini, who had become the leader of this revolution, of the Islamic Revolution, had promised the people of Iran freedom and democracy. There has never been a revolution in the history of mankind where people get onto the streets and they say, we want a horrible dictatorship. No. People want freedom and democracy. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. But that is not necessarily what they get. The Ayatollah told the people of Iran that Western government and corporations had been meddling in Iran's affairs and stealing our oil money. It was true. And he promised that he would put an end to that. In Iran, we had personal freedoms during the time of the Shah, but we had no political freedoms. But at the time, I was 13 years old. I was madly in love with Donny Osmond. Do you think I cared? No. As long as I could wear my bikini on the beach and, have a boyfriend, I was fine with everything. But then, the revolution, regardless of what I believed in, it happened. And it became my problem. Because in school, they replaced our teachers, who were qualified teachers. We had maths and sciences and literature and geography. They replaced them with 17, 18-year-old fanatic young people, members of the newly formed Revolutionary Guard, who were not qualified to teach. So basically, we were sitting through 7-8 hours of propaganda a day instead of calculus and all those good things. Now, we protested. Yeah, we protested because calculus had been taken away from us. I know that's pretty insane. But trust me, even if they take calculus away from you, you're going to be upset. And we protested on the streets of Tehran, and as a result, I was arrested in 1982 and taken to Evin prison. I was 16, and I wasn't the only one. There were hundreds, there were thousands of us who were arrested. In Evin, they tied me to a bare wooden bed. I was lying down on my stomach. They took off my socks and my shoes, and they lashed the soles of my feet with a length of cable. And when I say cable, I don't mean wire, okay? I mean cable. It's about an inch thick. This is the most common method of torture in the Middle East. Why do they lash the soles of your feet? Because your nerve ends are in your feet. With every strike of the lash, your nervous system explodes and is magically put back together again, and you're wide awake for the night. I just wanted to go home. If the devil was so kind to appear, and if he had been so kind to tell me, Marina, sell me your soul, I will get you back home to your mother, I would have sold my soul with whipped cream and a cherry on top. I was 16 years old. My crime was I had attended a few protest rallies. I had written a few articles against the government in my school newspaper. And then I ended up in prison along with many of my friends. Many of those friends are dead, including my good friend Shahnoush, God rest her soul. She was 15 when she was executed. She only lasted 2 months in prison. We used to study math together. She was afraid of spiders, I was afraid of cockroaches. If a spider showed up, I took care of it. If a cockroach showed up, she did. And within 2 months, she was executed. We don't even know where she is buried. As I said, today is the 31st anniversary of my release from alien prison. During those 2 years, they beat me to a pulp. They raped me over and over again. And every night I listened to gunshots as my friends were executed. Just do me a favor, turn and look at the person sitting next to you. Can you? Now imagine that that person doesn't exist anymore, but is buried in a mass grave in some God-forsaken place. What would you do? Iran has not changed. Evin still exists. There are still hundreds, maybe thousands of political prisoners in Iran. Prisoners are still being tortured and executed. Even people who are underage are executed in Iran. Iran is still governed by the same laws that it was governed when I was in prison. Nothing has changed. It does not matter if Iran has a moderate government or an extremist government. Do you know why? Because the set of laws that govern the country remain the same. President Obama is now negotiating with Iran over the nuclear issue. I mean, nuclear bombs are bad. It's pretty obvious. We don't want Iran. I don't want anybody to have a nuclear bomb, including Iran. But what I asked President Obama, and what I asked all leaders who negotiate with Iran, and I have nothing against negotiation. I am for non-violence, no doubt. So what I ask them is, when you're negotiating about various matters with the Iranian government, please don't forget my friends who are either buried in mass graves or who are in prison being tortured and raped right now as we speak. This is not history, this is not past tense, this is reality, this is right now. In Iran, there are no memorial walls to hold the names of the dead. We need to remember the past, because without the past, there is no future. If there is no memory, tomorrow has absolutely no meaning. Imagine if you wake up every day and you have no memory of what happened to you yesterday. Forgiveness is a good thing, but forgetting is not. One day we will have memorial walls in Iran. But until then, survivors like me, it is our duty to make sure that the ones who suffered and died are not forgotten. But I cannot do this on my own. I need your help to carry the burden of all the innocents who have died. This is not something I can do by myself. So please help me out. And if you don't know how to do it, please email me. I'm also on Facebook. Thank God for Facebook. So I look forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to hearing your questions during the Q&A.